Well, we are all still waiting for the second half of Season 4 of Young Justice, Phantoms. As many of you know, this year has been story arcs focused on the original team, which has fleshed out their relationships and history on Earth-16. Over the last couple of weeks, we've covered quite a few characters, including Talia and Damien, Rocket, and this week we're going under the sea. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about Kaldur, aka Aqualad, now AquaMAN, and what I think might be going on in the second half of Young Justice Phantoms. Now, before we dive in though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, the big giveaway. We're about to give away this PlayStation 5 because we crossed 25,000 subscribers. Stay tuned to the channel for an announcement coming soon. We've picked the winner and we've sent a notification. Also, while you're at it, check out that free Week of Skillshare down below. It's a pretty cool way for you to develop all of your superhero skills for that never-ending war on crime, all while not diving too deep into your pocket. Plus, it really does help the channel, so we really appreciate it. Well, we've taken quite a few instances on this channel to talk about Aqualad. I have to say, there's been character reimaginings from various people in the comics industry, and I don't think any has been better than the new version of this character. Kaldur instantly became a fan favorite, and over a few years of the show he has evolved quite a bit and now holds the mantle of not just Aquaman, but the leader of the Justice League. I think this upcoming story arc for Kaldur could be pretty interesting and pretty important and explore an aspect of the character I don't think many people are aware of. Now, before we go under the sea though, I do want to explore the possibilities of some storytelling around his leadership in the Justice League and his loyalty to his original team. The recent loss of Connor Kent very well could play into some sort of decision to step down from League leader, and even possibly give up the mantle of Aquaman. We know his surface life is very important, and quite honestly, most of the time we have spent exploring those relationships. But let's be real, it's the under-the-sea life that really has defined the Atlantean native and driven most of his life. I really do think we're likely to have an Atlantis-based storyline for the Kaldur arc, because there's some very important pieces in place that make this story easy to work, and you can see how it could create something rather interesting. Now, we know most of these stories involve relationships, and when you look at Kaldur and his relationship to the people of Atlantis, there's a lot to be said. Obviously, we have Kaldur's boyfriend Wind, who, in case you didn't know, is a royal guard and an important member of the Atlantean royal palace. Now, it hasn't been confirmed, but he is likely a go-to guy for King Orin and would make the perfect vessel to help kick off an adventure involving Kaldur returning to the underwater city. We also have Mera and the Conservatory of Sorcery. In case you didn't know, this was a huge part of Kaldur's life before he became Aqualad. We even visited during Season 1. And it's also the place where he's likely to pick up several friends from his past. This could include Garth, aka Tempest, and Lagoon Boy, who we haven't really seen a lot of in the last season. There's also that relationship he established with Dolphin. Remember her? She was that metahuman last year that was part of Clarion's Rutabaga project, who was forced to become a water breather. The last we saw her, she was living with Kaldur's mom and dad. I suspect an underwater story will surely feature her, a newly evolved character, and maybe even be the driving force of a main plot of the story. Actually, I could totally see herself getting into some sort of danger, and Kaldur and the crew having to save her. But this brings us to the most important Atlanteans in a story that I think we might be about to get. That's Kaldur's parents. Now, if you didn't know, his father, stepfather, is Calvin Durham, and his mother is Shaliana. We met them last year when he brought Dolphin to the city. Now, we all know Kaldur's blood father is Black Manta, but did you know his foster father is a former henchman of Manta? That's right, these are some major moving parts, and I really think they're going to be super important to this story. Now, throw into this what Greg Weisman has talked about himself over on Ask Greg. Check it out. Now, quite a few things go back and forth here, but it does explore a lot of Aqualad's past that most of us have never talked about. Now, obviously, a soap opera level drama has occurred here. Kaldur's stepfather and his mother actually met 9 months before he was born, which I find interesting in itself. And his father was sent on a mission to undermine Atlantis and AquaMAN. Now, according to Greg, the relationship between Black Manta and Kaldur's mother was consensual. So let's play this out a little bit. I suspect at some point Kaldur's mother was in a deep relationship with Black Manta, and being the villain that the guy is, over time this became strained. In typical villain fashion, Manta wanted to use her to get closer to conquering Atlantis, so he sent her back to his people with his spy in tow, Calvin Durham. Wouldn't take much imagination to figure out what happens next. I'm sure Kaldur's mother eventually fell in love with Calvin, and the two of them revealed the villainous scheme, and then along with AquaMAN, saved the kingdom of Atlantis by scuttling Black Manta's plan. All of this leaves massive fodder for some classic storytelling involving revenge and some sort of final father-son showdown. If there's anything that's actually a phantom to Kaldur, that would be Black Manta. Now the sad part about this is I expect some sacrifice or loss, and if I'm picking anybody, quite honestly, it would be Calvin Durham. It's just sort of poetic, but we're going to have to wait and see how it all plays out. Now, we've talked a little bit on this channel about Aqualad evolving into AquaMAN. I've linked that down below, but I think because we saw so very little of Kaldur in Season 3, we're going to see him evolve quite a bit in Season 4. I am very excited that he's finally getting his own story arc, and I even suggested in one of our top 5 spin-off ideas, the Conservatory of Sorcery would make an excellent story and even a series, so digging into all of those characters involved in that group sounds pretty cool to me. Now stay tuned because next week we're going to dive into Nightwing and the city of Gotham and how all of those League of Assassins characters might be returning home and impacting Dick Grayson's life in a very interesting way. But until then, I gotta know what you guys think. Do you think Kaldur will maintain not just the AquaMAN title, but the leadership position in the Justice League throughout Season 4? And do you think the main story of Kaldur's arc will involve him returning to Atlantis and reuniting with some of his old allies and friends? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not going to get any updates. Peace.